Hey everyone, Jonathan here. And one of the things I want to talk about today, really quickly, is knowing what is on the property. Now, you may say, what does that mean, right? We're investing in vacant land, so I'm buying vacant land, right? There's nothing on the property. Well, most of the time, yes, that is all you are getting. But sometimes you can just happen to find out that there's actually something on the property. Now, when this is the case, more times than not, it's actually a positive, but sometimes it can be a negative. So, what do I mean? Well, sometimes there could be something on the property that was the beginning of something that never took off. So, we've bought pieces of vacant land that have had driveways on them, have had wells done, have had septic tanks already installed, have already been tapped into sewer or water lines, and things like that. And sometimes all these things around there, often actually, because of one or two things. One, it was either like a pre-development thing that was put in and it just never continued, and you're getting it from that. Or where we've seen it the most is there actually used to be a structure on it that was taken down, and those things still remain. So we've actually got a property that we're closing on literally like right now. I just got sent the HUD statement today for it. That's the case. There used to be a house on it. Now, what did that in turn? What did that do in turn to us? Well, we had to call the county planning and zoning and make sure that when it was removed, that it was done legally, because we have no problem with there being water lines and sewer lines and electrical lines and all that stuff being right there ready to go. It actually brings the value up. But at the same time, we don't want to be left with any sort of liens or any sort of issues because somebody didn't do something correctly. So we found out that that was all clear, it was all good, and we actually got a better piece of property because of it. But other times, where it happens is sometimes a property just has junk left on it. We've bought properties that have had vacant cars left on them. We've bought properties that had tires left on them. We've bought properties that have had. One funny story was one we had that had like thousands of empty cans on it. And it was actually funny because we didn't own it yet, but we had a potential buyer that was interested, and they asked us if they could have all the cans. This was actually the first that I knew about this. This goes back now about 8, 9 years ago. Uh, I didn't even know that there was cans on it, and they explained that there was thousands of them out there, and the reason they wanted them because they brought them back and basically got 5 cents a piece for them. So they went out there with a truck and loaded them all up and took the cans, and then they ended up buying the piece of property. So they ended up getting some money for the garbage that was there and then bringing it back. But those could have been issues, and they're not insurmountable issues normally, and they're very easy to find out because the bottom line is that if something like that exists, it usually has been reported, right? So, for example, if somebody's leaving trash on a piece of property, then there's going to be some sort of zoning enforcement laws that are being broken, and that's going to be been brought up. And so that will be found out by calling the county and just asking. Not something to be too worried about, but it's just something to think about as you're doing your due diligence and you're doing your research. Is there anything out there on the property that you're aware of? And if they say no, then great. And if they say yes, then you just follow the next steps. Obviously, sometimes you can see stuff from the air. You look at like Google Earth images and you see what the date is because it shows you in there. And maybe you see a date of, you know, earlier in the year. It's only been 6 months or something. And 6 months ago, there was a bunch of stuff there. Well, chances are that it's still there. Now, conversely, if the date's a few years old, then you may start to wonder. But again, just making some phone calls. If you're really worried about it, if it's a really great deal, or you're putting up the money up front and it's just too concerning, then obviously you could just hire somebody to go look at it. Personally, I've never done it. I don't feel the need to do that. I've never had any issues where where it's been that big of an issue. But it's just if you're a little paranoid or anything like that, you could run an ad on Craigslist or something for $25 and tell them, hey, go out, snap some pictures and send them to me, and then I'll send you your money, and then and then obviously they'll just have to send you like a picture of their phone that shows that they're actually there at the property. Um, when they take the picture to verify it. So it is a way to give a little bit of peace of mind if you so desire. But honestly, just following the simple steps, looking at aerial stuff, talking to the county, things like that, you can really find out if and what is on the property and if it's anything you need to be concerned about.